Hello and what's up? Thanks for joining me. I was really lucky when getting that base sim. Like, she's one of the pretty ones in the box, or supposed to be from 2000 standards. So I didn't actually have all of that much changing to really do here with Aphrodite in terms of face proportions and whatnot, because she was already very close to the conventionally attractive proportions we assume for Aphrodite. Like, scrolling through that, it was amazing how many of those sliders were just fucking set immediately down the middle, you know what I mean? Anyway, I just thought that was funny that she was so default. But with that being said, I was really going for the very classic 1950s Disney princess, fully innocent, the epitome of love, if you will, vibe for her, which kind of was going for a button nose, bigger, more open eyes, and a more perfect accentuated Cupid's bow and lips and whatnot. The eyes were kind of hard because how do you create the perfect eyes that someone would fall in love with on a sim from a game from 2005? Either way, this is definitely going to be a sim I come back to a lot, because I love the Percy Jackson ideas of Aphrodite, how she is this ever-changing, always beautiful, a perfect epitome of what love would be. So in the book, he basically continuously sees Aphrodite with features from his mom and from Annabeth and from other strong women he's met, and I think that is so fun and beautiful because at her core she's the goddess of literal love, you know what I mean? Or you could say sex. It depends on which way you want to go, whether Eros is sex and Himerios is lust, or vice versa. There's a lot of different interpretations of everything because, Greek mythologies and a religion and stuff, so there's a bunch of different ways of seeing things. So anyway, going on to her coloring, I was really trying to go off of that one painting in Sims 3, Bombshell Betty, you know what I mean? So I'll put a picture of it up here. And in that picture, she has these beautiful blue eyes and red bouncing curls and is very pale, and I just thought it'd be really fun if in this Sims world, in the parameters we have, if Aphrodite was this Marilyn Monroe type movie star of she's the most famous, most sought after sex icon of all time, and Bombshell Betty just is that for me, if you will, in The Sims. Also, it gets to have all of those fun storylines of her being this messy but gorgeous actor, and I don't know, I just think that's kind of sick and kind of cool. I've just been watching Smash, the Marilyn Monroe show. So fun, incredible work. Anyway, yes, okay, so makeup was also hard because I was trying to go for just what does your face look like every day type situation. I don't have a lot of CC Sims 3 makeup because I find that it kind of looks really obvious that it doesn't match the rest of them and whatnot, so I pretty much use the makeup tools as kind of stamping and shading and getting the shapes I want for their facial structure instead of makeup a lot. So you'll see I use that contour one all the time from Supernatural. And I was I feel she'd be a clean but very girl, you know what I mean? Not to get super in the weeds with the TikTok speak. Alright, so then we're getting the clothes. And this was hard because I just reset everything and kind of did a whole purge from when I was 13 and first downloading CC. So I basically just wiped everything and have been building up my resources since. Meaning I don't have a lot of non-base game options for clothing at this point. And I wasn't so I went with hair instead. I really wanted that same like bombshell look that I had been referencing earlier. And I had some okay options. I was trying to see if there was like a modernized version of this that wasn't like a 50s victory curl. And I had some that I was going back and forth between, but hair is always the hardest part for me. And especially because some of them have different sheens, so like I finally picked the one I liked here, but I had to mess with the color because like it's one that didn't have a lot of dimensions, so I had to manually put it in. Which is actually one of the things I really like about The Sims 3 that none of the other Simses have, and you can see I'm doing it here too, is the level of detail that you are allowed to customize into things to sometimes not even get a real pattern or to get a real color, but to achieve the look of one through the texture of something is one of the most fun and interesting parts of the game, I would say. So with this one, I wanted it to look like real hair, but I also wanted it to have that like very, very like it factor redhead, and it's so hard to make red hair look good sometimes in The Sims 3, in the nicest way possible. Okay, so in the same vein of using the game's texture system, I was trying to get like this top to be one of those like illusion tops with the hope that it looks like it's like lace and leather, and I was trying to hit this in between of like classy, sexy love with like the color schemes of this like black, white, and pink, because historically pink and white have been associated with Aphrodite for purity, plus the sea foam of which she was born, because the drops from Atlas falls into the sea foam, creating her godliness and whatever. Okay, so I wasn't sure on some of the accessories, but I did have the idea while I was doing her nails. What if the followers of Aphrodite, like, had some sort of marker or signifier, you know? And that was when I thought, what if it was this tramp stamp, and it was this, like, beautiful, flowy, like, something, like, what is more sexual, more, like, woman-centered than tramp stamps, you know what I mean? And also, I never get to, like, really use them or as tramp stamps or do this, so I thought this was a perfect opportunity. And The Sims 3 just happens to have all of these fantastic, flowy options for different tribal tramp stamps with, like, little flowers and stuff around them, and a pretty okay system for, like, layering and stamping tattoos on top of each other, you know? Like, it's the same general principle as the makeup, it's just a little bit clunkier, so I don't usually do tattoos as much, but I really liked the finished result when I'm done with them, most of the time. So after doing that, I went back up to her makeup, and I tend to do this a lot with Sims, where I kind of use makeup to get whatever face shape I want, and then I go through and get all of the clothing and the hair, and then I go back in and add in, like, what is their general everyday makeup look like. For her, I wanted, like, somewhere in the realm of this, like, chiseled cheekbone but sweet and natural appearance, kind of, and I was kind of just thinking of general icons off of, like, the Marilyn Eye or, like, Kim Kardashian's contouring, like, big things like that have kind of made waves, while still trying to, like, fit it to this face and this potato sim, if you will. One of my favorite things is eyeliner in The Sims 3, because I am lucky enough to have a really old computer, so when I put on the eyeliner, it makes it look more like eyelashes and makes it, like, kind of change the eyeliner and eyelash shape, and I see a lot of people complain about that nowadays, of having these, like, big block lashes and, like, whatnot, and it just a little bit in my heart, I laugh a little because I'm like, well, if you just played it on the computer that it was supposed to be played on, then you're good. And I know that's such, like, bullshit, but I don't know. I think it's funny. Yeah, so this is kind of the end face result for her. I messed around a little bit more with, like, the blush placement on the cheeks and, like, but for the most part, that's pretty much done. Next we're moving on to the wardrobe for formal, which is probably, like, the most important or tied for most important outfit for this sim. Is like, the goddess of love has to look fantastic when she's going out on the town, especially when she's living in Bridgeport, the only sim city with a nightlife. It makes me feel as if this is the New York, the biggest city in the world, of what it is. So I was going through clothing, and it wasn't going great, as you can see. I pretty much just started trying stuff. I was picking dresses I'd never chose before. I was seeing if I could make fabric look like other fabric, or make it ironic, or make it, like, sexy and ironically, maybe. And I don't know, I was kind of just failing on all fronts. I spent way too long on that dress before trying other options. This is one of my favorite late night options, is this, like, half shirt, leather vest, skirt combo that I have figuring out here. I just think it's so fun, and it works in a pinch and gets across what it needs to, though I will definitely be changing it later. Hair was also really fun for this one, because, like, doing the hair for the night out of the goddess of love, like, come on. Of course I'm making a video about this. I kind of wanted to go, like, either sleek and sexy, or, like, kind of falling out, kind of messy, kind of club girl. I ended up going for more of this, like, high class, dance club, dark eye makeup, like, woman, you know what I mean? Like, mysterious, could be a spy, like, could also just be the hottest girl there, genuinely going for a good time. Like, that was kind of what I was going for. I messed around with doing some, like, bubblegum pink and, like, adding more crazy makeup into that, but, like, honestly, the classic dark smoky eye is a classic for a reason, and I ended up tinting it more in the pink, more back in the range of her color scheme, but kind of kept it pretty based as it can be. Accessories for this were also fun. I thought a choker would be appropriate. Hot pink nails seemed like a good dancing moment. And yeah, then we got on to the fun one, which is what is the goddess of love like in the bedroom. And this is one of my favorite objects in the entire Sims 3 game. I love this lingerie set from Late Night. I love both of them. I think this is the cuter one out of the two-piece and the one-piece, but I just think this one is so sleek and buildable and sexy and fun. And I paired it with kind of like sleepy makeup and more like a messy, upkept hair of like, this is a perfect messy pun, and like I have perfect mornings type of vibe. If you've seen the dog from Oliver and Company, think that. Okay, next word is athletic, and I usually skip this category. I feel like most people usually skip the last two categories here, because it's like, how often are you going to the gym and your Sims are training into athletic gear, you know? So I just threw her in a quick pink tank top, legging situation, and just kind of like did a yoga influencer type inspired thing where like, what would she be doing on a glass terrace of a high class apartment drinking a chai latte? You know what I mean? And that was what I've come up with from this. So last up is traits, and I think the obvious are that she has to max out the romantic ones, but I also wanted to give her a bit of the dramatic and charismatic, loving personality as well, because I think it's really interesting to give the nuance to Aphrodite that while she is jealous and she is a little bit vain, all of those things in her stories come from her loving things too much, whether that be a specific person or a skill or the love of beauty. All of her general mythos can really stem back to just overwhelmingly loving something despite the consequences, and I think that's a really fun way to play and view her. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my creation of the sim.